right, it's one of your top stories this afternoon. The Eskom board and its executives presenting a state of the grid plan for the winter months ahead. Let's get you some analysis now with energy expert Vally Padayachee. Vally, thanks for your patience. Thanks for staying with us. By and large, the Eskom board and executives painting quite a positive picture of where we were last year and where we are this year comparatively. Do you reckon it is a positive story to tell?
Good afternoon, Michelle, and a very good afternoon to your viewers as well, and thank you for having me. I actually literally slipped out of that media briefing and came to your station. Yes, I think the plan is a good one. I think from what the chairman's comments, the group CEO, and of course the group executive generation and distribution, I think all of them are on the same wavelength. So the plan is a good one. But, you know, Michelle, having come from generation and with lots of experience there, and of course, key to this plan and the success of the Eskom performance is the performance of the generation fleet, and obviously the performance of the coal-fired fleet, and they talked a lot about that. But, you know, I can sympathize and empathize with the Eskom leadership team, because, you know, the Eskom business, the generation business, is such a complex business that for any plan to succeed, and I'm hoping that it succeeds, you need to be virtually in total control of all the attributes that go to make up the plan. And unfortunately, Eskom still is not in total control of all those parameters. There are some unavoidable inherent risks that could come back and bite us. And I just latched on to one point where the group CEO said, yes, we're doing all of the good work, but we could, and he said, we could go back to load shedding stage 2 in winter. But he also said, as the worst case scenario, we could go up to stage 5. So I think they're being honest with that. And so I'm of the opinion that notwithstanding what they've said, the grid is still erratic, unstable. Although they've ramped up the EAF to 61%, they need to be 65%. And they're also claiming world-class performance at 70%, which for me is a problem, because at 70%, you could stop load shedding, but you're not back to a comfort life, Michelle.
Yeah. I mean, the other problem, of course, is that we have spent such an incredible amount of money over the last 5 years on diesel, right? And I actually think that that was something that was dealt with. Yeah, 50% of the spend from Eskom over the past, I'm not sure what the time frame was, but was on diesel. It's 65 billion rand, Vally. It's like hemorrhaging money. You know, who pays for that? Where does that money come from?
No, exactly. In fact, I picked up the comment, I think it was announced by the Minister of Public Enterprise, 65 billion in 5 years, equates to 1 billion rand per month. And what the Eskom team has been saying as to now is 50% drop from April last year to now. But it's 50% of what? Billions of rand. And I was just trying to do a back of the cigarette box calculation. If you had to amortize that to a cents per kilowatt hour operational performance of the OCGT, I'm sure that figure will be huge. So yes, they are still going to use OCGTs to keep the ship afloat even in winter, although they've indicated that there are other peaking infrastructure that will come to the party. But I'm still of the opinion that OCGT is going to be playing a significant part. And I'm also of the opinion, and we've got to be very careful here, that we've pushed these OCGTs for the last couple of years. I mean, 65 billion rand. And these are technical missionary pieces of equipment. And let's hope that these equipment don't fail. If the OCGTs fail, then we could go beyond stages 5 and 6 of load shedding, maybe even beyond stage 8, Michelle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2023, during winter, we saw, according to the Eskom executives, between stage 2 to 4, If memory serves, I think we went well beyond stage 4 during winter last year, and we were at stage 6 quite a number of times. But they've given us the best and the sort of good, better, best scenarios leading into winter this year, right? So they say the good scenario will be that we are at stage 2 to 4. Better will be stage 2, and the best scenario will be that we will be at stage 1. That's what they're aiming for, they say. Is that possible?
Well, let's hope it's possible, but I don't think so, because they've alluded to that the demand is going to increase. So from my experience and from what's been quoted, the demand currently is about 28 gigawatts. That demand is most likely going to go up to 33 gigawatts. So that's about another 5 gigawatts you need to accommodate, and accommodating that now for 30 days with, of course, all the OCGTs and admittedly some of the good performance. But when you get to winter with 33 gigawatts, then you are again at a knife edge. And also what they didn't talk too much about, maybe we're talking about it now, but I don't think so, they haven't. In terms of the risk factors, there's a critical aspect that Eskom is not in control of. And I've talked a lot about that in previous media interviews. In other words, Eskom needs, which they had previously, a reasonable reserve margin, or what we call headroom. And that reasonable margin is 10 to 15% of capacity over and above the maximum demand. So that when you have that headroom and reserve margin, Michelle, then the system operator, national control, is able to accommodate all those bumps on the grid, in other words, all those failures that they're talking about. But now they don't have that luxury. So the moment you have a unit that comes up, big unit, 600, 800 megawatts, the customer sees it. And that's why I say the grid is still unstable, erratic. And I say that with due respect to the excellent efforts that the generation team, the Eskom team, is putting in. But as I say, they are not in total control of all the factors, and you just need one of those factors to come off, and then we could go back to more than significant levels of load shedding. Michelle.
If one thing goes wrong, the whole situation will crumble. Vally Padayachee, let me thank you for your time. Vally is a former executive manager at Eskom. He's also a former senior executive at City Power. So lots of experience coming to this conversation. Vally, thanks very much indeed.